going on YouTube? I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you are interested in purchasing my book, I will leave a link down in the description box below. As you can probably tell by the thumbnail, my tenant in my rental property tried to burn down my rental property on purpose. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some pictures here of what it looks like now. If you all remember my videos from a few years ago, I was living in this rental property. I bought it for $67,000. I fixed it up and rented it out, fully furnished. Now, I apologize if I'm going to be all over the place in this video. I am extremely stressed out, as you can imagine, for so many reasons. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. This is complete negligence on my property manager's part. It is evil in the fact that my tenant did this on purpose. And okay, let's just start here. Day one, the tenant moves in, disconnects the security system. And because of laws, as a landlord, there's nothing I can do about it. Once a tenant will tell you whatever they want you, whatever you think they want to hear, whatever they think you want to hear, they'll tell you anything to get into the property. And then the second they get into the property, they know that it's like, I can do whatever I want. Disconnected the security system. After a little while, I started getting text messages with pictures and videos from my neighbors at the rental property of obvious drug dealing going on out of the property. He's supposed to be a single individual living in the house. There's 6-7 cars in the driveway, not just one day, but every day. And my neighbor sent me a video of a big truck pulling up. The passenger gets out, goes into the house for about a minute, comes back out, and then the truck takes off. 1 minute later, I don't care if it's politically correct at this point, a tweaker walks up to the house from down the street, walks up to the house, walks in the house for 1 minute, walks out of the house looking super shady. And again, once they're in the house, there's not anything I can do. I called the police department and told them that there's drug dealing going on at my house. Here's the address. Nothing was done. And then, again, nothing I can do. The property manager can't do anything. He went and inspected the property. It was starting to look a little shabby. Fast forward a couple months, same thing going on, except I get a water bill that has 7,000 gallons. Now, just to give you guys something to compare it to, I looked at my water bill and I used about 675 gallons without conserving. Stuff like that. 675 gallons, and he was using 7,000 gallons. Okay, need to check and see if there's a leak. Property manager goes back, does an inspection, no leaks. Next month, 15,000 gallons of water. So, come to find out, he left the hose on full blast, whatever. Or there is a leak. I don't know, actually, to be totally honest with you, on the side of the house. Gonna have to find out. So there's drug dealing going on in the house. Tell my property manager, because his lease is about up. It was just a 6-month lease. And there's a co-signer who is his father, who is a real estate investor in Los Angeles, makes $500,000 a year. That was on the application. So some time passes by, and we've got the water problem, and the property manager goes and does another inspection, and he tells me, he says, you should not renew this guy's lease. There's a lot of wear on the house. He sent me pictures, and one of the beds, the headboard, it looks like somebody just took a hammer to the headboard and went like this. And there were a couple of holes in walls, nothing too big. You can patch those up. But the kitchen, the drawers were super dirty and filthy, and the bathrooms were just pretty nasty. But the guy was actually making an effort to keep the place clean. But was also a big thing was that all of the beds were unmade. There's 3 beds, but he lives alone. So he's obviously lying about that. So after all this happens, the father comes in and says, I'll give you extra money for the water. We'll pay you extra money in rent, whatever. Because the tenant is supposedly mentally and physically handicapped. The property manager also said that the laundry room was stacked floor to ceiling with laundry, floor to ceiling. And there was a woman there who he said was his girlfriend. There was a dog there, not supposed to be a dog there. But whenever an inspection was done, this stuff was gone. But I have pictures from my neighbor. So, and of course, security system, which was the first red flag. So we say, we're not going to renew your lease. And by the way, as I'm not going to put this out until January, and you all have to understand that it's for my own security. I can't come on here and say my rental property is completely out in the open and it's not inhabited, it's half burnt out. I'm going to leave my current residence and go there to fix it. So you have to understand, for my own security, so that people won't, there are crazy people out there, so people won't break into my house now or break into my rental property. I have to future date this video a long ways. So as I'm filming this, it's September 8th. I found out about this on my birthday on August 26th. I'm very stressed out. So it gets worse. That's just the first step. So the fire marshal comes and puts out the fire. It's basically the hallway, and the second bedroom is completely engulfed, but the soot has gone through the entire house. My mini split has melted off the wall. The TVs are melted. My furniture's melted, all that stuff. Here's where it gets bad. So I get a phone call from my insurance company saying, let me try this again. There's a detective on it, Detective Barbie her first name's Barbie, detective on the case, saying this is intentional arson. By the way, this happened 2 days after we told the tenant we're not going to renew your lease. It's more than likely he had tweakers living with him at the house and they didn't like to hear that. Or there was some sort of domestic dispute. I don't know. I can't find out. So I get a phone call from the insurance company. Okay, there's a fire marshal doing an investigation and there's a detective doing an investigation. They come to find out that it was set on purpose. So the tenant swore up and down he wasn't doing drugs. 2 days after the fire, he got arrested for drug possession. Like I said, they'll say whatever it takes to get into the house. And my property manager also said that the house smelled like smoke, so he was smoking in the house. Get a phone call from the detective saying, we are investigating this for arson. We think they started it on purpose. Get a phone call a week later it's day before yesterday, from my insurance company saying it's not covered. The reason it's not covered is because the tenant intentionally caused the fire. There was nothing wrong with the house. The electrical was sound and inspected. Everything was done by the book with permits. It was perfectly rentable, perfect condition. But because the tenant purposefully caused the fire, my insurance won't cover it. Because the tenant purposefully caused the fire, their insurance won't cover it. So I had to get a lawyer. And as of me filming this video, I don't know yet. So have to get that. And here's where it gets even worse. The day after I get the phone call from the insurance company, I'm walking around stressed out, heart palpitations and everything. I get a certified mail from the city of Bullhead City, where the rental is, saying, if you don't fix this by November 6th, we will bulldoze your house and send you the bill. They sent me pictures. Now, help me understand this. They sent me pictures of the inside of my house. How did a city code enforcer get inside my house to take those pictures without any of my neighbors filing a complaint, because code enforcement is supposed to be complaint driven? None of my neighbors filed a complaint, and they were not allowed or permitted entry into my house, but the pictures on the notice were from the interior of my house. I don't know if that's even legal. So, as of right now, September 8th, I am going down there this week because it's not covered under insurance, and because I don't know if I'm going to win this legal battle. This is all out of pocket. And because it's all out of pocket, I have to do as much of the work myself cleaning up this property. So I'm going to get a dumpster, and I have to do the debris removal of pretty much everything in the house, and demo the walls. It's pretty superficial. I know that the photos look bad, but it's fairly superficial. It's just the drywall. It didn't go through the roof. It's the ceiling and the walls and the floor, all burnt up. But yeah, I know I'm all over the place, and I don't know if I'm missing anything. But so that's where we're at right now. And people are like, what are you going to do after it's fixed up? Are you going to keep renting it out? No, I'm going to sell the house, but the reason is not because of this fire issue. That's one of the things that makes me feel better just over the last few days is going onto YouTube and watching other landlords who have gone through the same thing, and they're on there cool and calm and collective, not taking it personally. And it's the only thing that makes me feel better, because this was done intentionally. Like literally by law. The tenant is likely going to go to prison. I believe it's a class 4 felony, and it's 1.5 years in prison. Mentally and physically handicapped person who probably was on drugs and had some people, less than reputable people, living in the house with him who likely started the fire. But there's no proof of that. He's responsible. So moving forward, I'm not going to keep this house, and it's not because of this issue. It's because of the notice from the city that I got, where code enforcement illegally went inside my house and then told me they're going to bulldoze my house if I don't fix it in a certain amount of time. That tells me that the city does not care about its people. And I think that that's really messed up. Also, the fact that even though Arizona is a very landlord-friendly state, I don't feel like there is any control that you can have over your own property. In fact, I had to fight because the tenant, even though he's in jail for drug possession, it's September 8th, I had to fight to get on my own property before October 1st because legally he is still on the lease, even though he's not paying and he's in jail. So that tells you how unfriendly things are to landlords. And the fact of the matter is that over the last couple of years, it's been a real struggle getting a tenant. And when I do get a tenant, it's a tenant like this. My original tenant, the first one, not this tenant, illegally subleased the house to someone else who did not keep up the property. So when he was forced to leave the property, there were cockroaches and black goo in the sinks, and he had obviously never flushed the toilet in his whole life. So the cleanup cost like $1,000 because it was that bad. And, with this one, it's probably going to cost me $10,000-$20,000 to fix it. Money that I don't really have. So, how many people, all my money gets invested, and my emergency fund won't even cover this because it's such a huge undertaking. I'm just hoping that I can do as much of the work as I can and just hire a contractor to come in and do the drywall. And hopefully that'll save me a ton of money. We'll see. I don't know. I will keep you updated on this as things go by, but I'm washing my hands of this city, Bullhead City, and I'm not going to continue to attempt to have rental properties. But what I do love doing, as you can see behind me, I like fixer-uppers. I like fixing them up. So moving forward, if I find a really good deal on a property, it's more than likely that I'll do a slow fix. I'll fix it up slowly, and then I'll just sell it for a profit. But I'm not looking to be in the landlording business anymore because of this. I do ask everybody for prayers. I am more stressed out now than I have been in years. I'm getting heart palpitations, and it's not fun, the heart palpitations. I've been going for walks and everything to try and clear my head and try and calm down, and I'm only able to take so much at a time, so I have to put all of these issues incrementally into, like, increments in my brain in a filing cabinet, and then just try and tackle them one by one by one. Fortunately, my next door neighbor knows how clean I am and knows how organized and how I live and conduct myself. So my next door neighbor at the Bullhead City property said I can come and stay at her house while I'm fixing up my property for as long as I need to, free of charge. So thank you, Maya. I really appreciate it, even though she doesn't watch my channel. But Maya is going to be a huge help, and hopefully the property manager will be able to find me a contractor that will do drywall and do it correctly. We'll see. And I'm going to have to replace the mini split that's like $4,000. Because in Bullhead City, one of the problems is if you want a plumber or an electrician, you've got a 4 to 6 month wait time. And since the city code enforcement wants me this fixed within a month and a half, there might be some problems. Anyway, all right, folks. Wish me luck. Pray for me. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out. I see you. I see you.
We've established a perimeter. We just got a message from the sanctuary. Negan's back. He has plans to finish the hilltop. Rick's walking into a trap. We'll need the bullet order filled by tomorrow morning.
My little puppy. Yes. Boop. Boop. Oh. Oh, ah. Oh.
That's right. If Negan needs bullets to end this war, then by ginger, he's gonna get them. All of them. Scotch my talk, bare minimum. No sirs and madams.
Are you jealous?
We shall rise to the occasion with the ammunition. We will blow them away with every trigger pull.
Cutie. Oh my gosh, you're so stinking cute.